Hey, what's up everyone? James from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining me, and today we're going to be reviewing this beauty right here. This is the ICECO APL35 37 quart ultralight dual zone aluminum freezer. That is a mouthful, so for simplicity's sake, we're just going to go ahead and call it the ICECO APL35. Now, if you've been watching my channel for the last 4 months, you've seen this used damn near non-stop. From camping up in the foggy mountains of New Mexico, to going fishing, camping in the burning hot deserts, all that stuff, even some adventures that I did not film, like road trips. This has joined me, so I'm ready to talk about it, my pros, possible cons, and all that good stuff. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started. Now, before we proceed, I just want to be completely transparent with you. ICECO did send this to me for testing, and of course I get to keep it, so for whatever that's worth. But as always, I always have 2 caveats when it comes to testing gear. 1, I have complete freedom to mention my findings, what I like and what I don't like about an item. And 2, I have plenty of time to test it out. I can't review something comfortably if I just unboxed it a week ago. That's just stupid. So, of course, they gave me a couple of months to test it out, and as you can see, it's got some dings and dents and scratches and stains because it's gotten plenty of dirt time. So I'm just well versed in, a variety of environments and situations and stuff like that. And so, anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get the specs out of the way. The dimensions are 27 inches in length, 14.4 inches in width, and 15.7 inches in height. The capacity is 37 quarts, or 35 liters, and the weight when it's empty is 14.5 kilograms, or a little less than 33 pounds. Let's go ahead and open this up. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a dual zone compartment. So you can have this as your fridge, this is your freezer, or you can adjust it where they're both fridge, like what I'm doing today because we don't need a freezer for an overnighter. Or you could even go and change it to both being freezers. So if you're on a road trip, a hunting trip, fishing trip, and you're transporting meat and you don't want to risk it going bad, you can turn these both into a freezer. Now off to the side here is where you have the manual controls, and they're very easy to operate. So I can just click this and adjust it, bring it higher, bring it lower. Now, in case I'm away from the fridge, you do have here where you can get a app. And so I have an app on my iPhone, so if I'm in my tent or something like that and I want to do some adjustments to one of the compartments or both of them, I can go ahead and do so. The app also has the manual. So when you're traveling, obviously you don't have the manual. In case there's anything that you need to, you have any questions on, it's there. So I like it. The app is very easy to use, very user-friendly. And the temperature range is from -4 Fahrenheit to 68 Fahrenheit. And you can switch them over to Celsius if you prefer. Beneath the controls, of course, you have the connections here. Now here's where you connect it to your power source. And so you can connect this to your wall at home, or, once again, a power station like the one I have now. There is even a way to switch this over so you have the cigarette compartment for your vehicle as well. The only thing to note here is as soon as you unplug it, it will power off. So check out where it says 36, it will turn off immediately. So that's something to note. Now keep in mind that the insulation inside is going to keep things cold for a couple of hours, but once again, in case it's like a hot summer day, you do want to, connect it as soon as possible. As of the time of filming this video, this runs you $683. So I'm well aware it's not in the budget category, but if you're a constant outdoorsman or you're constantly traveling, I think this is going to be a worthy addition. Now, Cuervo and I are out camping, and we got here yesterday pretty late, so we didn't do a lot of filming. However, of course, we did film our dinner. So let's go ahead and jump into the past, do a little flashback so you guys can see what we had for our supper, and then from there we'll just jump forward so we can enjoy some breakfast today. Okay, so Cuervo and I are out camping today, and this is what we have on the menu for this adventure. So first things first, we did bring some Coors Banquet so we can fight hyperthermia and heat stroke. A little cooling off there. Now for breakfast tomorrow, we are going to be having some eggs with some cheese and some chorizo. And for dinner tonight, we do have some chicken that we're going to be barbecuing. Here's the barbecue for that chicken. And then we have some mushrooms and some veggies here. Onions, squash, jalapeno, and tomatoes. And that's what's going to be on the menu tonight. So Cuervo and I enjoyed our breakfast, and we're about to pull up stakes and head on out of here. So let's go ahead and finish up my final thoughts on this ICECO. So first things first, let's talk about what I like. So I like the fact that it's just far more durable. It provides me a lot more confidence because for the last 10, 12 years, I've been using the more crappier Walmart ice chests, and you get what you pay for. Those things are just crap. So funny story. So let's move on over here to this handle. I like how tough it is. It's nice and sturdy. A couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, Cuervo and I were setting up camp, and I was using one of those crappier Walmart plastic ones. And while I was bringing the ice chest down to the campsite, this side handle broke. And so I dropped the ice chest. We broke eggs. The ice spilled out. It was just so frustrating. Yeah, really crappy stuff. So I like how tougher these are. It just provides me a lot more confidence. Also, these latches. I like the fact that there's no way you're going to be opening this. So in case you're driving in a dirt road and you're bouncing around, you don't have to worry about this. It could possibly open. Like that. Heavy duty. Opening this up, I like the fact that it will stay open. It's not going to be closing shut on you if you're getting a lot of ingredients from in here. So I like that. I like this little manual right here. It provides you, the suggestions for the fruit and vegetables and meat, stuff like that. So that's really cool. A little troubleshooting graph right there. And there are lights in here. I'm not sure if you can see them now in broad daylight, but there are some lights in here. So as soon as you open this up, even if it's middle of the night, it's going to light up in here. So I like that illumination aspect. And lastly, we don't have to deal with ice anymore. We live in the American Southwest. It is the desert. So when we're camping during July and August, we're hitting past 101, 102 degrees. We're going through ice like crazy. And so that ice melts and we constantly have to make drives to town back in the old days. Or you wake up on a hot summer day and you come and grab some food or something and your eggs and your ham and everything's just floating in gross melted ice water. So we don't have to deal with that. This is electronic. So in case you have, if you have a power source like your house, your vehicle, a power station, you're going to be fine. And once again, no longer having to deal with ice or anything. You can make ice in here if you want. So once again, today we have it as fridge because it's just an overnighter, and there's more than plenty of room here for two grown adults to have plenty of food in here. There's plenty of height, so you can stack things upon stacking them, drinks and food and stuff like that in case you're here for a week or longer. And once again, you can turn these both into a freezer, so if you're going to go on a hunting trip, you're not going to fit a whole elk in here, but smaller game like raccoons and javelinas and stuff like that, there's plenty of room in here to transport your meat, and you don't have to worry about any spoilage. So I really like that. So as you can tell, I'm very happy with this. I am over the moon about it. I think it's an absolute game changer. So if you do constant camping, traveling, fishing, hunting, this thing is just going to be a welcome addition. Not only that, but we are currently filming in late October. Like today, we got ourselves a Halloween party. So of course, when you have family get-togethers, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff, this always comes in handy. 4th of July, so it's always going to have a use, even when you're not out camping. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cons. I gotta be honest, I don't really have any cons for this. I'm very happy with it, although I do have two small nitpicks, and they're minuscule. But first things first is, although I like this top portion, the lid, I really wish that it had measurements, like inches over here, centimeters over here. I actually have an older ICECO freezer that you don't really see on the channel too much because it's too large. So I keep it at home as my spare freezer, and that one has measurements. Now, what that helps is if you go fishing, right? So there's a lot of rules and regulations on the size of the fish, right? So I reel in a bass in West Texas, and they're very finicky about the sizes. If it's too small, you got to throw it back. If it's too large, you can keep. And so those measurements would really help. Is it the end of the world that we don't have that? Not really, but I think it would really help out. So if ICECO's watching and they're listening, I don't think it'd be that expensive to make a future version with the measurements. I think that would really help. Another thing that I mentioned earlier is that as soon as you unplug the power source, it just shuts down. Now, granted, with the insulation, it's still going to keep food cool for a couple of hours, but I would breathe easier if it could just stay powered on. Now, I'm no engineer, so I don't know how these things would work. Maybe it's just too small for it to power on independently for maybe in a spare hour or so. But I would just feel a little bit more comfortable if my food was still, if it's still powered on and it was still keeping it cold. But once again, that's beyond my comprehension of the onboard computer and all that stuff. So I don't know. Now, on a side note, they do sell a magnetic power station. So you can actually buy from ICECO a magnetic power station. You plop it on here to the side, and it's just going to keep charging it wirelessly. So I do like that. So if ICECO's looking to send me a Christmas present, I would not say no to that. But other than that, I'm very happy with this. I don't have to deal with buying ice anymore, and I don't have to deal with melted ice water in the mornings on a hot summer day. In here, my food, my drinks are nice and comfortable, and there's plenty of room here for me traveling by myself, even with me and Cuervo, a couple people. There's plenty of room in here for food and freezing things and all that stuff. So I like it. Not only is it an awesome new cooler for me, but as you've seen me in the past videos, this makes a great chair. I put my cutting board here and I chop up my food, and this is my table. So I'm really happy with this. So if you're so inclined, folks, I'll have the link down below to ICECO. Also, be sure to use the code FOX12 to save 12% on your purchase if you're so inclined, and that throws a little kickback our way. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.